For those of you joining us, they will be going up for a a warm-up lap first, followed by a formation lap. In karting, we start in a formation lap, so it's not from a standing start. They'll pair up side by side as they go around the course, and once those lights go off, then they're off and racing. Some of the things the drivers will be watching out for is, of course, not to cross that solid white line in on the main straight there as they exit turn 1. That blend line will cost them time. If 2 of their wheels cross that line, it'll cost them some time penalties, so they'll be staying clear of that.
Have the mechanics had to make adjustments to the kart again now that it's a dry track?
Yes, absolutely. They would have adjusted their carburetors because it's a lot warmer now, so they can probably lean the engines out a little bit more. They would have changed the setting, the Ackerman, and the setup of those tires, and of course the tire pressure and the tires themselves. So there's a big change in the karts. They'll have to get used to it, and they'll be using the warm-up to do that.
Which also means we're going to see a lot faster lap times as well. Back in the mid-30s now, I suppose.
And it looks like Javier has a bit of an incident there going through that slick patch of water. Sorry, it was Roderick Chung who had a bit of a slip on that back turn. That water is still pretty slippery, so he went in with a bit too much pace and just had a bit of a tumble. And as a result of that, it looks like Pavan had a bit of an incident, and he's stuck on turn 6 now as the rest of the field go around in formation.
Hopefully he's kept the kart going, because if they can push him back onto the circuit, he can regain his grid position. It's not looking good. He's getting out of the kart. So that's Pavan's race done. Pavan Ravishankar, who was in 5th position, kart number 428. That's unfortunate for the young lad.
Well, they probably will do everything they can to try and get that kart back on the course. It's just a matter of whether they can get him in time for that formation lap. They're blowing the whistle, letting him know that that kart is in the way.
And that's quite a safe position for that kart on the grass there.
That's right. Hopefully they will let him restart, because it'd be a pity if he doesn't get to start the race. It looks like the marshals are looking to try and get him back on eventually. So far so good though. The rest of the field looking in pretty decent shape. Let's see if we get the green light.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be starting on this lap. And Javier's got the break over turn 8, and they're off and racing. What a nice break by Javier. He leads the race into the first corner. John Lee a close second, and Rodrigue maintains his 3rd position as they enter turn 2. There were no lead changes there. They're heading out the back of the track, but it looks like John Lee's going to duck and dive on the inside of Javier, try and take him around the back chicane, as we see them coming out the bottom of the back straight. Javier's done a good job to maintain his lead, but it's going to be a hard fight for the next 16 laps, because John Lee is all over the rear end, and there's been a collision. Yeah. It looks like Rodrigue and Josh Lee have had a collision.
Roderick went into that corner again with a little too much speed and lost control again, and as a result, looks like Josh got caught in that as well.
It's unfortunate. They've kept their karts going, so they'll rejoin the race. Rodrigue was in 3rd position. That puts Jaden up into 3rd. This is his best position that he's been in so far in the championship. Let's see if he can produce some magic and catch John Lee. And that's bumped Lucas Meister up into 4th position too, so he could do something here. The podium's still there waiting for him, as Javier and John exit turn 8 to complete their 2nd lap. This is going to be a good battle for 1st position, as the battle for 2nd position here with Jaden and Lucas is warming up a second, as Lucas is foxing about coming into turn 1. Take your time, Lucas. There's plenty of laps to go. Nips out. He's going to try and take him on the outside, then duck on the inside. Jaden did a good job of closing the door on Lucas there. Not to worry, there's plenty of time for Lucas to make up some track.
Impressive driving so far from Jaden. Jaden very new to karting. He only started about 6 or 7 months ago, so he's done well to get himself into 3rd place, kart number 180. And oh, Lucas goes very wide on turn 6. I wonder what happened there. He tried to avoid colliding with Jaden. He's done well to stay back in the race. Lucas currently sitting in 4th position.
And Javier has clocked the fastest time so far with a 39.5 seconds. It's still a few seconds off what they're used to achieving.
John Lee seems to be finding the pace though, 39.461. He's currently in second space, but he's got 0.2 seconds between him and the race leader.
He's going to make a move. If he can maintain this gap coming through the stadium complex, through the last corner, he can get some slipstream. He's a bit too far to make a move now, so he's going to have to time it right for the next lap.
And you'll be seeing that John is very consistent on his lap times. He wants to stay on the accelerator and stay on the pace. He's closing that gap. I'll be looking to see him make some moves in a couple of laps' time, 2 or 3 laps, I'd say. And Lucas, meanwhile, right on Qingde, he's going to try and go on the inside.
He's done a good job. He was down by a few seconds after his little spin there. After going, whoa, a little bit twitchy coming out of turn 1. He's much faster than Jaden. He's all over the back of Jaden. He's on the inside, down the back straight there, coming into the chicane. He does it. Nice move to Lucas. That's bumped him up into 3rd position. He did start in 7th position, so it's a fantastic result for Lucas after a bad pre-final result. But he's on the podium now. Now his job is to keep Jaden behind him.
And Lucas's dad right there, the corner of the pit lane, cheering him on. Let's hope he can hang on to that position and improve on it even.
He's pulling away. This guy's fast.
He's doing well. He's definitely on pace now. And as you see the karts going through that wet puddle in turn 6, you can see them going a little sideways as they come uphill. But it seems to dry off in time by the time they come back into the corner. So it's looking like it's drying out as they go across.
And it looks like our race leader is quickly approaching the back marker of Rodrigue Chung. And this is going to be good for John Lee in 2nd position. Maybe the back marker will slow down Javier, giving John Lee an opportunity to grab that lead.
As we speak, we've got 10 laps to go, and it definitely looks like John is closing that gap.
And Lucas is hot on their trail. Here we go, nicely past the back marker, safe and sound. That's put John Lee right up on the rear bumper of Javier. If he can hold it through this turn, he should be able to pass him coming into turn 1 and 2 as they approach 2 more back markers. This is going to be an exciting finish. And we're not even halfway through the race. We are just halfway through the race.
9 laps to go, not to mention that Russell Arvin 9.43 and Josh Lee 9.41 also still battling it out. As they go down the back section of the chicane, we'll wait to see the race leader 2.77 and John Lee, car number 2.33, battle it out as they come up on the back marker.
Smart racing by these two. Back markers are doing their job, getting out of the way. Prime position here for John Lee to take advantage of a mistake. If it happens, Javier nicely taken on the inside.
And Josh does well to point him through. He knows his brother's hot on the tail, and they're really neck and neck.
3 abreast going into turn 1 there. Come on, John Lee, what's he going to do? He's going to save it for turn 1 or turn 2, maybe.
Just in case you don't already know, these boys are under 12 years of age, so they're all in their primary school years, and they're driving karts like they know what they're doing.
Driving them like veterans.
That's right.
That we'll see later. And in looking on the outside there, John Lee on 1st place, Javier. He's got to try something around this stadium complex. They're keeping it nice and straight through there.
We have got a race on our hands right now. Kart number 233 is currently 0.134 seconds behind Javier. It's neck and neck now as they go into turn 2. This will be interesting.
And they're on fresh tires, right?
Well, they're back on their slick tires. They may be the ones they've used all through the week. So they will have a bit of grip on them, but I look to see them improve in the terms of their traction as they go across the race.
Now, I noticed before that Javier coming through the last chicane in the stadium complex, he's turning quite severely in the middle there. He should try and keep as straight as line as possible. As we just saw, John Lee got a lot of time coming through this chicane. Hopefully he realizes this is the area of the track where he's gaining most time on the leader. And if he can maintain that coming out of the last corner, he should be able to get into the slipstream and make a pass before turn 1.
That's right. So the karts are all fairly evenly matched. Like I was saying before, the drivers actually have to weigh together. And oh no, Josh and Roderick have another collision on turn 2.
It's the second time.
It looked like Roderick had a little bit of a problem turning into the corner as Josh tried to get past, and they ended up getting into each other. As here we have the front car trying to get past Qingde, kart number 180. Javier gives him a bit of a nudge and goes on the inside. And so does John, all cleanly through, but they lost a little bit of time there.
Nice sliding there by Javier. This guy's on a mission. Beautiful passing on the inside. This kid really knows his stuff.
5 laps to go for these drivers. They've still got some time to try and settle out their positions. Not Josh's day today. He's having a lot of trouble running into traffic and getting into some minor collisions there. And of course the story of the take, Javier and John still battling out for first and second. John's still closing the gap, and as you rightly said before, he gets a bit of speed coming through this front section here. He goes quite straight, and Javier still trying to maintain that lead.
So for our audience members who are new to the sport, we just saw Javier bouncing up and down in his kart as he's driving in a straight line. What are they trying to do when they're doing that?
What the drivers will try to do as they get on the main straight is get their weight on the front axle of the kart. So they unweight the back end to try and give it a bit more speed. As Roderick goes a little sky high, and he goes into the back of Russell Arvin, kart 943. So they want to try and unweight that rear tire and get a little bit more traction so that they get some spin in those tires and get a little bit of a surge forward. And sometimes you'll occasionally see John ducking his head to try and get an aerodynamic advantage, as you'll see him dip his head slightly to try and get a little bit streamlined. And here he comes, right on the back of Javier. It's getting close.
We got 3 laps to go. He's going to have to produce some magic here. He knows where he's catching him. He's just got to stay focused and commit to the pass in the last corner here as Russell Rodriguez
and
again.
Another collision. That was, my heart skipped a beat then. He went sky high there. That would have been pretty scary for the poor driver.
Rodriguez and Russell and Pavan. Who's that? Russell Arvin. He's had an eventful final.
He's
no,
very
let me
unhappy.
go, let me go, let me go, he's saying.
He's hammering the steering wheel. He's upset with that, but
no more racing for you, son.
Thankfully, they're still safe though, and that brings us to a couple more laps to go, I believe. We've got 2 laps to go for race leader car number 277. Oh, and someone cuts on the inside of John. Here comes the race leader on the back marker. They have to go past Lucas on the outside. That would have been tricky. But they managed to get past Lucas in time as they go to their final lap.
These kids have absolutely no fear. They are trying everything they can to get past one another here. It's amazing. I wish I had no fear like these kids.
And here we go for the final lap. It's between Javier and John. And then Lucas Maestre is still in 3rd. He's done well to hang on to his spot.
This is going to give Javier the lead in the championship now, if he can maintain it. Coming out of the last corner, close, there's less than 100th of a second as Javier takes the checkered flag.
His fist raised proudly in the air, he does well.
For his first SKC championship win here. And second place, very close, John Lee. A few more laps, we probably could have seen him fight for the lead there. And Lucas Maestre, a nice 3rd position after starting from 7th on the grid. That's well deserved considering that he started on pole position in the pre-final, but had a really bad race in the wet. So it's good to see him on the podium. Let's see if his sister can make the podium as well, who is racing next in the junior class. So well done, Javier, John Lee, and Lucas Maestre. We've got Jaden in 4th position, Josh Lee in 5th, Rodrigue Chung in 6th, Russell Arvin and Pavan Ravishankar rounding out the field.